it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a card using Lawn Fawn's Just My Type stamp set. So I have stamped out the images I'll be using on some Nina Solar White cardstock, and I'll be coloring with my Copic markers. I have long wanted a vintage aqua colored typewriter. I just love them. I think they're so cool. So I had to color my typewriter with these aqua blues today. I'm using BG11 and BG13. So the BG13 was my darkest shade, and then I'm blending out with the BG11. There wasn't a ton of surface area, so I just thought the two markers would be good. I'm also going to make sure to color that little return lever. And then for the inside between the keys, I'm using some cool grays. I'm using C1, C3, and C5, and I'm just going to carefully go around those keys so that I can leave them white. Now, I didn't realize when I was creating this card, in fact, I didn't realize until I was just getting ready to do the voiceover for this video, and I was looking at the stamp set again, there is actually a third row of keys that is an additional image that you can stamp in the top area there. There's actually two different options in this stamp set. I didn't realize it. I just left it blank. I think it still looks totally fine, but you definitely have that option to add in that third row if you want to. So I'm just deepening things up with a little extra of the C5 for a little extra contrast. And then I did decide that I wanted to go back and do those little wheels in turquoise. I didn't want those to be silver. So I'm moving on to my desk lamp. And my desk lamp actually looks exactly like this. It's an IKEA lamp, and I have an IKEA desk as well. So I'm kind of creating my own little writing corner in my craft room on today's card. I have kind of an L-shaped desk, so the one area is for crafting, and then the corner area is where I do my writing. So I'm going to be doing like inspired by my craft room, but of course adding in that beautiful vintage typewriter that I don't have yet, but it's definitely a dream. So for my paper, I wanted to add just a little bit of color, and I didn't want to do more grays. So I decided to use the E000 and the E00. I could have left off that E00. I felt like that actually made it a little too peachy. So I'm going to grab my colorless blender and really blend that back, just push that color back into the paper to make it a little bit lighter. And then when I do my desk, which I also want to look kind of white, but it has kind of like a cream undertone if you're familiar with the IKEA, like the Kallax and Alex drawers and all of that stuff. It all kind of has a little bit of a cream undertone maybe. So I'm just going to go straight in with that E000. I'm going to leave off the E00 completely. And then when I want to blend this out, I'm just going to use that colorless blender once again to just soften up the edges. It really doesn't blend things out. It just softens up the edges and pushes the ink deeper into the paper. So I'm just going to use that. I'm going to add a little bit more of that E000 on the bottom edges and corners of each of those little drawers to accentuate those as well. And then just use that colorless blender once again. For the light bulb, I'm going to use Y11, Y13, and Y15. I started with the Y15 and then blended out with the Y13. And then I'm just using a little Y11 over top of the gray on the inside of the lamp just to cast a little bit of a glow. And then I'll trim these images out with the matching dies. Because my sentiment is already stamped on the typewriter paper, I'm going to move directly to stamping on the inside of my card now. I'm using Lawn Fawn's Merman ink, and I'm stamping out the typewriter image once again, and then the sentiment that says love you, and then there's an extra sentiment underneath that that says like a lot, which I just thought was super cute. And I did stamp that down a couple times to get a really good impression. And then I'm going to fill in that paper with the little heart that's made out of X's and O's. I thought that was a cute detail. The pattern paper I'm using is from the Spring Fling collection. I trimmed down the larger piece with the large stitched rectangle stackables, and then the floral and the frame are with the stitched scalloped rectangle frames. And I'm going to glue down the larger print first. Then I'll add the floral print right in the center of the card, and then I popped up the frame with some foam tape right over top of that. Now I'm taking a little bit of the Lawn Fundamentals wood grain cardstock. I used the brown, and I'm going to use that to make up the floor of my craft room, since I do have a dark wood floor. So I adhered that down to the bottom, and then I've got a thin white strip that's going to be the white baseboards that I have in my craft room. And I don't have the floral wallpaper, but I do have aqua colored walls. They're pretty much the same exact color as that frame. So, and I do have a lot of plants lining my windowsill in my craft room. So the floral wallpaper kind of is in place of that. So next I'm going to take my desk, which I've popped up on foam tape, and I'm just going to line that up. I want to be careful not to press down too hard because I need enough room to have that typewriter sitting on top, and it was a little bit too short, so I'm going to have to pull that up carefully and just move that down a touch so that I have room to have that paper fit inside of the frame. So I'll just pop that back down, just leaving a little bit of sliver of that wallpaper showing underneath that drawer there, just so that it has a little bit of more interest there, and not just white on white with the baseboards. Then I'll add the typewriter and then the lamp right next to that. I thought the floor was looking a little empty, so I decided to add some crumpled up papers just for a little bit more fun. So I'm just drawing those really quick and simple on a piece of scrap paper here, just doing kind of a swirly rose type shape. And then adding a tiny bit of color with that E000 marker that I use to color in the desk and the paper on the typewriter. I'm going to fussy cut these out since I obviously don't have a die since they're hand drawn. Just quick and simple, keeping the scissors mostly straight up and down and moving the paper around as I trim those out to leave a little white border so that they match with the die cuts that I've already used. And I ended up using 4 of these in total. I thought I was only going to use 3, but I ended up needing the 4th one as well. And I realize I am still super zoomed in here from the fussy cutting, so I apologize. I realized it right here, and so I zoomed back out to add in the 4th one, but basically I just added little dots of glue and then set those right over top. And as a final embellishment, I grabbed my Spectra Noir clear glitter overlay pen and added a little bit to the light bulb and the paper coming out of the typewriter, and then the crumpled up papers on the ground as well. And that is going to complete my card for today. There's a little look at that shimmer and another peek at the inside. So this card is actually up on the Lawn Fawn blog today, so I will leave a link down below if you'd like to head over and give it a visit. And then of course I'll have all the supplies listed down below in the description box as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and make sure to hit that notification bell as well if you want to make sure that my videos always show up in your feed. And if you'd like to keep watching, here's 2 extra videos I thought you would also enjoy. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.